In Cuba, one cannot leave the country without getting official permission from the government, and few do. In North Korea, the government controls all of the radio, television, and news organizations. In China and Myanmar, political activists who have spoken out against the government have been imprisoned, like Liu Xiaobo and Aung San Suu Kyi. An overly powerful government, with no limits, has a devastating impact on the freedoms of the people. The Founding Fathers, when they wrote the Constitution, purposefully constructed a limited government by specifying what powers the federal government can and cannot have. One of the greatest limits on our government's power is the system of federalism, or the relationship between the federal government and the states. The 10th Amendment promotes a balance, stating, "The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people." Let us delve into some of these powers and find out exactly what is delegated, prohibited, and reserved. First, the federal government possesses delegated powers, which are stated explicitly in the Constitution. Article 1, Section 8 provides a comprehensive list of powers given to Congress, including the power to raise and spend revenue, regulate interstate commerce, and establish post offices. Only the federal government can handle these delegated powers. For example, the delegated power to establish post offices is the reason why the United States Postal Service is the same across the nation, with the same goods and services whether you live in Sacramento, California, or Dallas, Texas. The Constitution only delegates the most essential powers to the federal government. Issues like national defense and interstate commerce could best be controlled by a central ruling body. In addition to delegating powers to the federal government, the Constitution also prohibits the states from certain responsibilities. Article 1, Section 10 denies states the ability to enter into treaties and coin their own currency, among other prohibitions. The reason for this prohibition of powers is self-explanatory. There would be chaos if, for example, each state coined their own separate form of money. If a power is not delegated to the federal government or prohibited to the states, then it is reserved to the states and to the people. By reserving powers to the states, the Constitution limits the powers of the federal government as much as possible. Examples of reserved powers include public services like police officers and firefighters. This reserving of powers to the states and to the people has prevented the United States government from falling into oppression, like the governments of Cuba and North Korea. Often, the federal and state governments will clash. In 1992, Alfonso Lopez Jr. brought a concealed gun to his high school and was subsequently arrested and charged with violation of the federal Gun-Free School Zones Act of 1990. But wait, where in the Constitution is the federal government given the power to regulate what students can and cannot bring to school? In the Supreme Court case United States versus Lopez, the government argued that the law was based on the delegated power of interstate commerce. Lopez argued that the law stretched the Constitution's definition of interstate commerce too far. In a 5-4 ruling, the Supreme Court decided that Lopez was correct and that the states, not the federal government, should regulate gun laws on school campuses. In order for our government to function, there must be a balance between the federal and state governments. If the federal government has too much power, there will be tyranny and lack of freedoms. If the state governments have too much power, there will be disorder similar to the chaos under the Articles of Confederation. The 10th Amendment promotes a balance by limiting the powers of the federal government, and it is this balance, combined with the virtue of the people, that has prevented the United States government from falling into oppression. As long as our government continues to honor the principles of the 10th Amendment and of the Constitution, we can be confident of liberty and further democracy in the future. Thank you.